What if I told you that over 80% of project programs get rejected on the first submission? That's a massive waste of time and money. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Francis Oshadare, and today we are going to discuss a critical topic for any contractor working under NEC contracts. The four key reasons why project program will be rejected. Understanding these reasons is not just about avoiding rejections, it's about mastering the NEC processes, ensuring your project runs smoothly, and protecting your commercial interest. The foundation of this is ECC Clause 31.2. We'll break down each of these four rejection reasons, look at the practical examples, and discuss best practices to ensure your project program are accepted first time, every time. So why project program acceptance matters? Before we dive into rejection reasons, let's establish why having an accepted program is important. It's not just about a piece of paper. It is the single most important project management tool under NEC contract. Once accepted, the program becomes the baseline. Every bit of progress, every change, every delay is measured against this document. Without it, you are flying blind. This is where it gets critical. The accepted program is the tool used to assess compensation events. Without an up-to-date program, it's incredibly difficult to assess accurately the time and cost impact of a CE. This often leads to subjective assessment and disputes. So by regularly updating and accepting the program, you agree on the state of play at regular intervals. This massively reduces the potential for costly and time-consuming disputes at the end of the project. You're agreeing on the fact as you go. So finally, acceptance is the project manager's confirmation that your program plan is practicable, realistic, and contractually compliant. It's a validation of your project planning. Reason number one, contractors' plan are not practicable. The first and perhaps most common reason for rejection is that the plan is not practicable. This is the first test under NEC Clause 31.3. It's a simple question. Can this plan actually be executed on site? For example, multiple trades. A classic example is showing multiple trades working in the same confined space at the same time. For instance, scheduling electrician, plumber, and plasterer in the same small room on the same day. It's not just practical, it's unsafe. Example number two is impossible sequence. So another common error in showing impossible logic in the program. For example, scheduling the installation of second fix electricals before the first fix is complete or before the wall has even been plastered. The sequence must be physically possible. Okay, unachievable duration. This is about the time that's been allocated in the program for activities. If an activity realistically take 5 days to complete with the assigned resources, but the program shows it can be done in 2 days, it's not practicable. The duration must be achievable. The key here is the constructability review. Before you even think about submitting, you must walk through the program from the site perspective. Imagine you are the site manager. Does the sequence make sense? Are the resources sufficient? Is it safe? This simple step can prevent common rejections. The second reason is the program does not show the required information. So the second reason for rejection is purely about compliance. The program must show all the information required by the contract, specifically under clause 31.2. The program must clearly show float and time risk allowance. This isn't optional. The project manager needs to see where the flexibility is in the program and how you've accounted for any potential delay. Okay. If the client is providing material, your program will show when you need them. If you don't and the materials are late, it becomes very difficult to claim a compensation event because you never formally notify the project manager of the required date. Key dates are contractual milestones with specific conditions. They must be clearly identified on the program. Simply showing a date is not enough. It must be marked as key date. Okay, so this is the easiest rejection to avoid. Create a simple checklist based on clause 31.2 before every submission. Go through the checklist, tick off every item. A competent contractor should already have all this information from the tender process. So it's just a matter of ensuring it's all on the program. Reason number 3, the program does not represent plans realistically. This is subtle but important distinction from practicable. A plan can be practicable in theory but not realistic in practice. Realistic means the program must reflect what is actually happening on site at the time of submission. For example, completed work. If you've already completed the groundworks, but your revised program still shows them as a future activity, it's not realistic. The program must be an accurate snapshot of progress. Resources mismatch. This is common one. The program might show a duration that requires a team of 8 operatives, but in reality, you only have 2 people working on that activity. The plan does not match the reality of the resources on site. Okay, another one is sequence mismatch. So similarly, your team is actually building the west wing before the east wing, but the program shows that the east wing will be before the west wing. It's not realistic. The program must reflect the actual sequence of work. A pro tip here is the program must be a living document. It's not a theoretical plan you create at the start and never touch again. It must be updated regularly to reflect the true state of play on site. This is fundamental to good project management under NEC. The fourth reason is the program does not comply with the scope. So this is the final rejection reason, and is that the program does not comply with the scope. The scope is a document that tells you what you have to do, and it can include specific requirements for the program itself. The most basic requirement is that the program must show all the work required to complete the project. If you miss out a section of the work, the program is not compliant. Another one is scope requirements. The scope might include specific instruction for the program. For example, it might say that the program must be cost loaded and resource loaded. If you submit a program without this, it can be rejected for non-compliance. Okay. Another one is completion event. This is a crucial point for contractors. These 4 reasons are the only reasons a project manager can reject a program. If they reject a program for any other reason, for example, they don't just like it, then that rejection is a completion event under clause 60.1 section 9. This is a key protection for the contractors. The 2 biggest challenges in practice. So beyond the formal rejection reasons, there are 2 major challenges we see in practice that undermines the whole process. The first one is PM silence. When a project manager simply doesn't respond, they receive the program and then silence. The contract is clear. They have 2 weeks to respond. Under NEC 4, this problem has been addressed. If a PM is silent, the contractor can issue a notification. If there's still no response within a further week, then the program is deemed accepted. This is a powerful tool for the contractor. And the second challenge is a common excuse that clause 31.2 is impossible to comply with. This is often used to justify a rejection. However, the reality is that a competent contractor would have considered all the items in clause 31.2 during the tender process to calculate their prices and duration. It's not a new information. It just needs to be shown in the program. So in both scenarios, the result is the same. No accepted program. This is a major risk for both parties. It undermines the entire contract and makes it impossible to manage time and cost effectively. It is in everyone's interest to have an accepted program in place. Best practices for program acceptance. So how do we avoid these issues? Here are 6 best practices to ensure your program are accepted. We have discussed this throughout the entire presentation, but let's just summarize them. Number 1, constructability review. Walk through the plan from a site perspective. Second one is clause 31.2 checklist. Verify every contractual requirement is met. A living document. Update the program regularly to reflect reality. Align resources. Ensure your plan matches the actual resources you'll be using on site. Include all scope. Check for missing work or specific scope requirements. And also track PM responses time. Use the deemed acceptance mechanism if necessary. So by embedding these practices into your planning processes, you move from a reactive to a proactive approach, dramatically increasing your chances of acceptance. So let's quickly recap the 4 key rejection reasons under clause 31.3. Not practicable. Can it be done? Missing information. Is everything shown? Not realistic. Does it match what's happening on site? Scope non-compliance. Does it cover all the work and any specific requirements? Remember, the accepted program is the foundation of good project management under NEC. It benefits both the contractor and the client by providing a clear, agreed upon baseline for measuring progress and change. It's worth the effort to get it right. Thank you for your time. I hope this has provided a clear overview of the program acceptance process under NEC. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section below. I will be happy to get back to you as soon as possible. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.